Days turned into weeks, yet the light of that Paris evening refused to dim. Around the world, Meghan's Balenciaga moment became more than a trending topic. It evolved into a cultural ripple that refused to fade. Every major publication revisited the moment with renewed awe, calling it a rebirth of quiet influence in an age obsessed with noise. From the streets of Paris to the studios of Los Angeles, conversations unfolded around what Meghan's presence represented. Her elegance had redefined the tone of modern celebrity, not by extravagance, but by depth. This wasn't just a fashion statement, noted Harper's Bazaar in its October issue. It was a spiritual one, a visual symphony of peace and power, from a woman who's learned that silence can be louder than applause. Designers speak her name. Fashion designers, young and old, began referencing Meghan as a muse for modern restraint. Balenciaga's creative team released a statement saying, "Luxury labels that once thrived on spectacle began shifting towards simplicity. A quiet revolution in aesthetic direction that critics dubbed the Meghan Effect 2.0. In Milan, Versace's art director remarked, "Even established icons like Giorgio Armani and Ralph Lauren commented on how Meghan's approach to fashion had inspired a return to dignity. The idea that style is not about being seen, but about being remembered." The People's Duchess. For millions of admirers, Meghan's Balenciaga appearance was not about couture, it was about connection. Fans around the world organized social media campaigns celebrating her elegance, using hashtags like Duchess in Paris, Meghan Grace, and Balenciaga moment. In Brazil, murals appeared featuring Meghan in her white gown, captioned Beleza e Poder Silencioso, beauty and silent power. In South Africa, university students hosted elegance evenings inspired by her poise, encouraging self-expression through simplicity. In Japan, a magazine called her the modern muse of global femininity. The emotion wasn't about celebrity worship, it was about collective pride. People saw in her a reflection of endurance, of grace under scrutiny, of love turned into legacy. Media reflections. Weeks after the event, media houses continued to analyze her influence. CNN called it the Meghan Renaissance, describing how one appearance shifted the global fashion conversation. The New York Times wrote, "Meanwhile, LUK described her presence as a symphony of calm amidst chaos," praising her ability to elevate simplicity into an emotional language. Every photograph became a visual meditation. Every replay of her Balenciaga walk reminded the world that strength can be serene, that influence can be wordless yet profound. The Meghan Effect. Reborn experts in branding and culture called it the Meghan Effect Reborn. It wasn't about the commercial influence she once had, selling out coats, shoes, or handbags. It was about a reawakening of values. Analysts observed that Meghan had become a global archetype of composure, someone who redefined what modern power looks like in the digital age. Social psychologists noted how her journey inspired women to detach self-worth from approval. Her Paris moment became a case study in authenticity, proving that grace, when consistent, transcends controversy and time. "She doesn't chase the world," one commentator said. "The world realigns itself around her." Artistic tributes. Artists from Kenya, France, India, and the Philippines began painting her portrait in Balenciaga white, depicting her as a modern Aphrodite, an emblem of purity and poise. Parisian galleries received requests to exhibit these works, calling the theme Meghan, l'énergie du silence. In Los Angeles, a designer created a limited edition candle called the Duchess Glow, inspired by the calm strength she exuded that night. Within hours, it sold out globally. Writers penned essays, poets wrote verses, each capturing a fragment of what Meghan represented that night. One poem went viral online, Meghan and the Meaning of Modern Womanhood. Through her Paris appearance, Meghan reignited a broader dialogue about modern womanhood. She symbolized a shift from performance to presence, from glamour to groundedness. Commentators observed how her journey mirrored the evolution of today's women, self-made, self-defined, and self-secure. She didn't arrive at Paris Fashion Week as an accessory to fame. She arrived as an architect of her own narrative. Her style said what words could not, that true empowerment is gentle, intentional, and endlessly resilient. Philosophers of culture even began referencing her name in discussions about post-fame identity, the ability to transcend media narratives and re-emerge as art itself. The spirit of timeless influence. By late October, Meghan's Balenciaga look had already earned its place in history. Vogue listed it among the top 10 most iconic fashion moments of the decade. Time magazine named her the most talked-about woman of 2025 for all the right reasons. Her influence was no longer confined to style. It was emotional, symbolic, almost spiritual. She had shown the world that a woman can evolve quietly and yet shake global consciousness with one appearance. "This is not reinvention," said fashion critic Anya Ray. "This is recognition, the world finally catching up to who Meghan has always been." Echoes across continents. Weeks later, when Meghan was seen leaving a quiet dinner in Los Angeles, the same warmth followed her. Photographers, now respectful, captured her from a distance, the woman whose presence had softened even the hardest critics. In Paris, the Balenciaga headquarters displayed a framed photo of Meghan from that night, the gown slightly glimmering under the gallery lights, with a small caption beneath it. In Italy, fashion students continued dissecting her look for design meaning, its architecture, its message, its emotion. In Africa, women's groups cited her as an example of how global representation can be dignified and strong. In Asia, think pieces explored how her energy bridged the gap between Western glamour and Eastern serenity. She had become a universal language. The light she left behind. Months after the Paris show, one truth remained. The world hadn't just seen a fashion moment, it had witnessed alignment between who Meghan is and how she chooses to appear. Her quiet return reminded people of the importance of balance, of peace amid public life, of choosing grace over reaction. She had become the mirror of calm power that society desperately needed. Fans began describing her aura as walking silk, breathing light, a living poem in motion. And in a sense, they were right. Meghan had transcended labels. She wasn't defined by fame, she defined it anew. A legacy written in light. By December, the year's end reviews began rolling in. Vogue Italia crowned her Icon of the Year. Harper's Bazaar named her the woman who redefined the spotlight. Fashion critics across Europe agreed the Balenciaga moment would be remembered for decades. It wasn't about luxury, it was about legacy. Her portrait from the runway graced magazine covers, coffee table books, and art exhibits. But beyond the surface, her influence became emotional currency, reminding millions that stillness is a superpower. One journalist concluded beautifully, the final word, a world still in awe. The Paris lights may have dimmed, but the glow surrounding Meghan never did. Her name remained on every fashion editor's lips, her image embedded in the hearts of admirers worldwide. For every woman seeking inspiration, for every artist chasing purity, for every designer rethinking elegance, Meghan had become a living reference. In the end, her Balenciaga moment wasn't about fashion at all. It was about truth. That authentic beauty never rushes, never competes, never fades. It simply exists. And that is why, even months later, the world still celebrates her, HRH Princess Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, the woman who didn't just walk a runway in Paris, but walked straight into the heart of global admiration. To all my curious Sussex family, thank you all for watching, and do not forget to subscribe, like, and put a comment. Bye-bye. See you then in the comments section.